sorry. People of the internet, welcome back to the Armbar Arcade, and in fact, welcome back to the Scuderia Toro Rosso Data Centre, where I'm, unsurprisingly, having a sip of tea. Piping hot, very nice. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the first few races of the 2018 season. I certainly have. Australia was a bit of an epic comeback drive. We nearly made the points in that one. And then last time out in Bahrain, we did make the points. P6 in the end, in fact, which was a real pleasant surprise. This, despite going on Legend AI and running generally a difficulty level far higher than I normally do in F1 games, this has gone surprisingly well so far. And we're heading to China next up, Shanghai specifically, for the Chinese Grand Prix. So let's dive into practice. Now, kind of the same story as Bahrain really here. The testing mini-games were not as tricky as I thought. They were, a few of them consistently give me some issues. I think it's mostly the tyre management and ERS management are the ones that are the trickiest ones to do. And qualifying simulation is always a bit of a weird one, because it's always like, no, you're probably going to qualify last, mate. And then I don't qualify last. But generally sunny conditions, and we got about 14th in the first session. I was trying to do more of the testing or all of the testing games in the first two practice sessions to save wear on the race gearbox, which is what's used in FP3 qualifying and the races. So I noticed that was getting a bit of wear and tear on it, so I did pretty much all the testing mini-games in the first two practice sessions, and that went pretty well in the end, especially when I did the qualifying sim, and ended up P3 in practice 2, 2/10 from Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
You can say that again, it was alright.
You really went all out in practice today. Are you testing new components?
Yeah, we've got some new parts on the powertrain at the moment, and boy, I tell you what, I was just enjoying the roar of the engine too much to pit.
It's the start of the season. How do you think things are going to go for you?
I mean, that's a little bit of a tricky one to answer, but to be honest, with a great team like this, I can't fail.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Anyway, on to practice 3, and as you can see, probably a good thing I got those testing mini-games out of the way in the first two practice sessions, because this is where the rains arrived. Spoiler alert, this wouldn't be the last time they'd show up this weekend either. And what was mostly interesting is that for this race, or this weekend, I was mostly using a setup that I got from a Arab F1 2017 career mode setup video for dry conditions, not wet. So I was kind of down the order in FP3, but didn't matter too much in the end, luckily, because we got all the testing out of the way. And speaking of which, we've got some nice resource points. We're earning some more back. And really, what I was pondering between practice and qualifying is where to spend the resource points. I mean, we've talked before, the Toro Rosso has a really good chassis. We're developing new aero and powertrain components. Do I focus on the chassis or anywhere else? That's to decide after qualifying. Now, qualifying got off to a pretty interesting start when I was told that in Q1 there was a chance of rain in the last few minutes of the session. Yes, I told you it wouldn't be the last time we'd see it. So I decided to go out there and try and bang it up early, and then I found myself stuck behind this blithering idiot. I mean, Esteban, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? I mean, look at this. We were literally drag racing each other down to the hairpin. Full DRS on. This was full race practice here. This was like my race simulation. But in spite of that, managed to log a 1:35.3 as the opening lap. And I figured, well, given I spent most of the lap staring up Ocon's gearbox, got to be able to improve on that, and I did by about a tenth. So a 35.2 was the best I had, and once again, deja vu from Bahrain, we were clinging on to a Q2 spot. So I had to try and go back out there, but look at the clouds. It's already started to cloud over, and I could swear I saw some raindrops on the track. That's my excuse for not improving, but just like in Bahrain, we snuck through to Q2 once again, just behind our teammate this time. It was very close. And as you can see for Q2, things didn't start very smoothly there either. Bearing in mind it was bucketing down with rain, the fact that I then had to wait 5 minutes for a software issue to be repaired meant that when I finally got on the track to do a lap, it was even wetter than normal. So it was a real shame in the end, because look how close I was to getting a Q3 for the first time. Under a tenth off. That was so close.
Tell us about it from your perspective.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm pretty disappointed. I wanted to get to Q3.
Qualifying session for you. Are you going to carry that momentum into the race?
Well, that's very nice of you to say. I mean, I'll tell you what, that is the plan. Keep an eye on me tomorrow, and you'll see something special.
The weather hasn't been ideal in qualifying. What's your take on it?
I mean, you can say that again, but I'll tell you what, we're Brits, you're Scottish, I'm English, you know this. Who can predict the weather? Even the weatherman gets it wrong. We all know Michael Fish.
Appreciate your time.
Well, you may not, I don't know. But anyway, thank you, Claire. So anyway, just before we get into the race, back to our R&D trees. And I tell you what, I'm kind of interested to see how far we can push just like maxing out on the chassis, especially as we have got some very handling-based tracks coming up. I'm thinking like Spain and Monaco and things like that. Yeah, the powertrain's good, but I'm kind of one of these old school people who likes, you know, I'm like Lotus, I'm like Colin Chapman, you know, I'm like simplify and add lightness. Good handling chassis, good handling car, the key above everything. So we're going to invest in some chassis development, and with that, it is time to hear from Emma, our agent.
Declare as your rival. The more challenging they are to beat, the more the paddock will respect you for succeeding. Just be aware, you'll lose the same amount of respect if you come off second best. So it may be wise not to be overly ambitious.
So that was Emma discussing the rival system. We can pick a rival between Ocon and Ericsson. I'm going to go with Ericsson. He's a fairly safe bet. Reckon I could beat him. Let's get down to the race. And race day has dawned in Shanghai, and oh dearie me, it's not just raining, it is absolutely bucketing down cats, dogs, hamsters, bunnies, hedgehogs, bats, whatever. This is what us Brits would call a fine summer's day. So it's pissing it down with rain. And like I said before, we're on a dry setup. And in Parc Ferme, between qualifying and the race, you can barely change any of the settings. This is going to be fun. Meantime, let's check out the starting grid, shall we? So in the end, it was the last race's winner, Kimi Raikkonen, who got the pole for this one. A little bit of a surprise. Valtteri Bottas locks out the front row. And it's Vettel starting right behind his teammate, and Hamilton starting right behind his teammate. Red Bulls lock out row 3, Ricciardo and Verstappen. Then it's your typical Renault-Haas combination to round out the top 10. We're starting 11th again, so I think someone else has taken a grid penalty. People just want to keep taking grid penalties and giving us free positions. That'd be great. I think it was Alonso, because he's starting 16th on a grid penalty. Meanwhile, where's our main rival? He's last after, guess what? A grid penalty. I think I'm feeling confident about beating Ericsson in this rivalry, to be honest with you.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Okay, don't copy that, Jeff. I'm just going to take a sip of tea as we're on the grid. Yeah, there's some rainwater in it. Ew. Anyway, fairly simple setup here. I can't really adjust much about the setup. Just add a bit of front wing to hopefully add a bit more downforce. And as for the tyre strategy, wet tyres, and then some more wet tyres, really. There's not really much else to it. The forecast says rain for the entire race. As we've said before, who can trust a weatherman? But for now, that's all we've got. There's not really any time to be gained on putting inters on at any point, or so the predictions say. So, brace yourselves, pray for me, cue the music, and let's do this. Okay, so that's a pretty decent start. We're almost level with Sainz. Can we tuck in behind him? Excuse me, pardon me. Squidged in front of Van Dorn there, and I immediately can't see shit going into the first corner. It's just a haze and a load of name tags. And, oh, sorry, Grosjean. Give him a little bit of a punt there. Can we squeeze up the ins? Evidently not. That's not gone very well at all. Excuse me, pardon me, can you... Oh, cheers, teammate. Do you mind letting me back on the track? Thank you, Sergio. Thank you for letting me back through. I feel like a BMW driver waiting to turn out of a turning on a road in the UK. Just sitting there for hours while no one lets you out. Anyway, let's take a look at the replay of that incident. Kind of entirely my fault. I was trying to squeeze up the inside of Verstappen where there really was not any room. And in the wet condition, it didn't take much contact to be spun around. Right round, baby, right round, like a wrecker, baby, right round, round, round. That's the hilarious situation of an entire traffic jam at the back of the grid. I've basically screwed over both the Force Indias in that situation. Now, here's Grosjean. We actually gave him a little bit of a tap, and then oops. So, yeah, that didn't work. There's Sainz, who we kind of barged past a little bit. And then, oops. Oh, there was a gap there, and then there wasn't. Oh. And this entire route of cars just stopped dead. I don't know what happened there.
Okay, not a great start. Let's get back on track.
Really, Jeff? Really, don't say. Didn't say not a great start. I was facing backwards at turn 2. And I don't know, I thought it was a pretty decent start, to be honest. You know how in the last video people were saying that I got on a lot better with Jeff? Maybe not this race. Whoops, I'm definitely not getting well with the track conditions. Definitely not getting on well with the track conditions, I should say. But just like Australia, we've got away with no damage. How do we keep getting this lucky? Really, seriously, how do we do this? Like, I genuinely don't know. So we are hopefully going to survive the first lap without any more issues. Hopefully, we've still got one turn to go. But we are down in P15, and just like in Australia, we're miles away from anyone. So, yeah, we're going to chase down a big gap again for the second time in this series. Let's do this. Oh, here we go. We've got some people to play with at last. And not just anybody, we've got our teammate, and we got what seems to be half the field. What is going on here? Like, there is a massive train going on. It's like the entire front straight is a train right now. Look at the mini-map. There's about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 cars in this train. You're just waiting for me to catch up, guys. Is that it? You, like, AI rubber banding here? Is that what's going on? Anyway, first person in the queue is our teammate. Haha. He must be getting sick of this. He gets whipped by us on time every weekend, and then we'll do something and fall back. And he'll be like, oh, I'm leading my teammate. Oh, no, I'm not. Just keeps repeating.
Heavy rain will pass in 5 minutes and will be replaced by light rain conditions.
Okay, copy that, Jeff. That's very interesting. Before you'll give me a weather report, I'm dive bombing up the inside of turn 6. On my teammate. This is Rosso on Rosso action. And it's worked. Well, it's worked for me. It's not worked for Gasly because now he's down in P15. Haha! And we're beating him again. So here's a look at the replay. I do like turn 6 as a passing turn. It's a good dive bomb city turn. And we were level for traction off the corner, but then I think just that rumble strip where there's no traction whatsoever, we just eased him out onto them and he was like, whoop, 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 and then, you know, that's me simulating the rear tyre spinning up, if you wonder what that was. Meanwhile, speaking of spinning up, I nearly fell off the track altogether. I've nearly dive bombed Van Dorn. We're talking about a dive bomb city corner. Every corner, on a wet track, every corner is dive bomb city, basically. There's no corner that isn't dive bomb city, really. And oh my god, this is Driftu City, this corner, Jesus!
Engine is looking a little worn. Power output will be less than optimal.
Oh great, that's the last thing I needed to hear from Jeff. He's now telling me the engine's under a lot of stress, and we're down on power, and now my teammate's dragging up behind me. Oh my god, this is going to get stressful! Into the hairpin! Don't drive up Van Dorn's gearbox. So have successfully not driven up Van Dorn's gearbox and have successfully repelled my teammate. All in all, I'd call that a successful corner and a successful lap. Oh, hello, Stoffel. Are you ready to get waffled? Probably not, but he is anyway. Come on, squeeze up the inside. Oh, little bit of wheel banging there, but yes, we've made it. That was complete deja vu, and exactly 1 lap after we did the move on Gasly. Same turn, basically the exact same move. We'll even throw up a replay to show you to compare. Tight on the apex. He gets the run around the outside, and then straight out on the rumble strip, and nah, mate. Nah, mate. Oh, my God. We're nearly trying to overtake Leclerc. Like I say, every corner on a wet track is accidental dive bomb city. That's the main thing. You just, like, people, like, have a crash, and it's like, oh, what are you doing punting me? And it's like, sorry, I didn't mean to. Case in point, we just bang wheels of Leclerc there. And he's like, oh, excuse me. Oi. Charles, no need for that. That was a bit rude. And now we got Stoffel trying to go back the inside. Get back there. Oh, hey, Charles. You know how you eased me out of that corner on the last lap? You know I've passed 2 people in 2 consecutive laps down here at turn 6? Well, guess what? You're going for the hat trick. And I've done it. Haha! You are powerless to resist. And do you know what? I'm not even going to show a replay. You've seen it twice already. You know how this goes by now. Oh. Sorry, Lance. Sorry, Lance. Also, by the way, shout out to Lance Stroll up in P11. Like, a Williams nearly in the top 10 and nearly in points. Like, how that's happened, I don't know. It's probably some sort of... it was probably my fault, actually. Oh, there's a yellow flag, so someone's fallen off up ahead. I think. I don't quite know what's happened there. Oh, my God. Oh, there's someone who's just speared off to the right, and everyone's slowed down in front of us. Well, guys, I'm going to catch you both napping. Go on, can we get 2 in one go? 2 in one corner, come on. This will be maximum dive bomb city. Yes. Get in. What a pass. What a double overtake. Down at the hairpin. Liberty Media, put that in your best overtake compilation of the season. I dare you. I'm just crotch chopping in the car right now. I'm so proud of that overtake. Tell you what, let's take a look at it on replay, shall we? So I was already up the inside of Stroll after he slowed down to avoid the car of Sebastian Vettel, which is surprisingly DNF'd. Right over the rumble strip on the hairpin. Oh, just ease him out onto the rumble strip. He has no traction. I have 2 positions for the price of 1. That is how the master does it. Guys, we all remember Ayrton Senna 1993. This is Adam Johnson 2018. Thank you. And now we're right up behind Romain Grosjean. Is he going to be the next victim of our Turn 6 massacre? No, he's not. Oh, no, he's not. He's just parked the bus on the apex instead. maybe his team have radioed in and said, just so you know, the guy behind you has passed 3 cars in 3 consecutive laps at turn 6. You might want to be wary there. But he's also got to defend with me for the rest of the lap, and he's going so slow. I mean, do you want to get a move on here? I'm literally going around the outside of you. I'm drift-doing around the outside of you. And now I'm up your inside, now I'm dive-bombing, and now I'm past you. Roman just gets so banged. Gets so banged down into P9 that your team are just embarrassed to say that you're hired to them. Really now? I mean, that may beat the double overtake at the half of my favourite overtake of the race. Look at this, round the outside, a little bit of drift-do, a little bit of squiggly back end, up the inside, tuck it in there. Oh, mwah, mwah. It's magnifique.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Okay. Jeff, what have you got for me?
Huh. Interesting. He wants me to move on to a 2-stop, but he also wants us to change on to inters now. Okay.
I'm going to stick with the current strategy for now, Jeff, because it is still pissing it down. But get back to me in a minute, will you?
Cars are coming in for inters. It's touch and go, but could be worth the risk. We'll be ready if you want a box.
Okie doke. Tell me that once I've gone past the pit entry, and I've already... Well, it's kind of my fault for poo-pooing him. I was like, no, I'm fine on wets. And, well, good Jeff. He realised the lesson that Blackadder taught us, which is never ignore a poo-poo. He was like, no, actually, I think inters are the best option right now. And now I'm just hoping he re-offers me that strategy choice on the MFD. It's just like, no, Jeff, I've changed my mind. I'm just, like, furiously keying the radio, like,
Jeff, please, let me have that option now. Jeff, you know what I said? Whatever I said, whatever I did, I didn't mean it. I just want you back for good.
Now
here we go.
On the MFD.
I want the strategy for good. Now this time I will pick it, so I will box at the end of this lap.
here we go. Right, don't do a Lewis Hamilton into the pit lane. Don't do a Lewis Hamilton into the pit lane. Have successfully not done a Lewis Hamilton into the pit lane. What I will do is slow down to make sure I don't get a speeding penalty and take a sip of tea.
2 stops left in this strategy. We have 2 stops.
Oh, it's all got like rainwater in it. It's a bit cold. Gross. We need to seal up the drinks bottle a bit better, lads. I know you're not used to having tea in it, but this is unacceptable, really. Right, away we go.
Complete. Go now.
And honestly, I just look at the mini-map and look at how many people are in the pit lane right now. I think we've timed that one to perfection. We've timed that so well, we haven't lost any positions. We've literally come into the pits P9. We've left P9. We're behind. We're actually quite close behind Carlos Sainz now. Oh, hey, Carlos. Hey, Carlos. Hey, Carlos, do you want to play? You want to play with me? You want to play? Carlos Sainz, come out to play! How has my voice survived that? Anyway,
Keep it up.
probably best not to be doing Warriors impressions right now.
10 minutes.
Probably best to get on with actually passing a Renault in a straight line. That's how you can tell this race is a bit weird. Oh, and Carlos poo-poos that attempt at overtaking. He's like, no. Goes in way later on the brakes, but we're still at the inside. Come on, little Toro Rosso. Go on. Oh, I think we... Oh, no. We've locked wheels. We've locked wheels. This is like trying to race Arav online. Please don't glitch me with side pods of death. No, I've avoided the side pods of death. I'm through. I've passed a Renault. And we're up to P7. What is this race going on? There was me thinking it was going to be terrible and then triply terrible with the rain. It's actually going quite well.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Oh god, Jeff, what is it with you and your constant strategy options? You're playing around with your laptop in there, just like doing some like Motorsport Manager, and it's like, ow, I think we could do like 0.03 sec. I mean, he is my race engineer, so this is exactly what you should be doing, in fairness.
Whoa, more driftu. Can we just rename that turn Driftu turn? I may also have to rename this straight. Go away, Carlos Sainz, leave me alone, please. Meanwhile, I'm doing the Shane Van Gisbergen, find wet pieces of track offline to try and keep these inters cool. Oh, late on the brakes. He's going later still. Tell you what, that Renault is very good on the brakes, but we are even gooder at that hairpin. Yes! Get back down into P8 full. Toro Rosso up in your grills. Something. Grove Street.
Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still on the right tyre for the time being, but we're not a million miles away from slick conditions.
Okay, copy that, Jeff.
That's quite interesting. You see, I'm supposed to be pitting at the end of this lap for my final stop of the race to go on to inters. But why don't I just stay out a little bit longer and go on to slicks when the track's dried out, if it dries out in time? Because if it doesn't dry out and I'm stuck on knackered old inters, then I start to lose a lot of time to the people on fresh tyres. Like this motherfucker behind me.
Right, Jeff, can you give me a weather report, please?
We anticipate an end to this rain in around 5 minutes. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
Right, so ignoring the fact we've just been passed by Carlos Sainz. I mean, sorry, Jeff. Let me just deal with this blithering idiot first.
Carlos, you get back down into P8, mate. Know your place. Know your role here. Suck it. There we go. Anyway.
Jeff, yeah, what with something about Inters being the best option. You know what? I'm going to ignore your call to pit now. Not going to pit now. If you say the rain's going to go away in about 5 minutes, it already looks like it's starting to dry now. Let's go for the gamble. Right, Jeff, what's the weather doing now?
The rain is passing. Expect it to ease up in the next few minutes. Be ready for the grip to come back, but don't overheat the tyres. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Okay, so now it's gone from 5 minutes to a few minutes.
Oh my! Okay, those Inters are getting a little bit toasty on the rear now. They're starting to, I daren't actually look behind me in case there's just flames coming off my rear wheels. And no, sadly, that's not my new mixtape. I'd love to say it is. It's not. So, we've already gone about 3 laps over when we were supposed to pit. And is the track dry enough for slicks yet? I don't know. There's barely any moisture even offline now. So surely it's about time. Surely it's about time to go. Oh my god, we're understeering all over the place down at the hairpin. I mean, what do we do? What do we do? I think I've got to commit. I've got to commit, but I've got to hope that the track's dry enough, and surely it's nearly there. It can't be that far away now, surely.
Alright, Jeff, what's the weather doing now?
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions looking good. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now. Dries or Inters.
Okay, copy that, Jeff. Very helpful that even you don't know what the best tyre is to go on right now.
But I'm willing to wager that the fact that he's now not sure, because before he was certain that Inters was still the best tyre, now he's not. Given that I can barely see any patches of moisture on the track, and that they've just re-enabled DRS, that's normally a clue that it's time to go back on slicks. I think it's about time we switch things up. I think we've survived long enough, we're still in P6.
Not sure whether dries or Inters are faster. We're right on the crossover.
Okay, we're right on the crossover. I think we have to pit now. Jeff, listen to me. We have to pit now.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Hallelujah, he's listened to us. There we go. Stop at the end of this lap and bolt on some sticky soft tyres.
Right, into the pits for hopefully the last time in the race. Don't do a Lewis Hamilton. There we go. That's what every driver thinks when they enter the pit lane in Shanghai. Right, and don't speed into the pit lane. There we go. I don't know who that would be. I don't know who's famous for speeding into the pit lane. But you can just see some sunshine poking through the clouds. Sunshine through the rain. So, I don't know that. Was that oh my god, Bangles. But I've forgotten my 80s bands. Anyway, I was so busy trying to remember 80s pop bands that I've forgotten how to exit the pit lane. Hope that's not cost me too much time. Imagine that being interviewed afterwards by Claire being like, so how did you lose time in the pits there? Well, I was trying to remember the name of the people that sang that song, Eternal Flame. And I forgot to disengage the clutch. Really? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Anyway, we are back out on the track. Once again, we somehow timed our pit stop perfectly. We're P6. And we're on to slick super... Well, we're not on super soft. We're on slick soft tyres. Fastest lap, mother truckers. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Oh, fuck off, Sainz. Just let me enjoy my moment, will you? And, oh, I guess now everyone's getting on the act, aren't they? Oh, you can fuck off and all. Oh, piss off.
Right, Jeff, who's behind us?
Behind you. The gap to the car behind is 7.7 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are 3 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 40.7.
A 1 minute 40.7, you say, Jeff? Our last lap was about a second slower than that.
Okay, we're on to the final lap presented by Credit One Bank and Robot Wars Battle Music 3. And, this is a bit of a role reversal from the last few episodes. The last few times, we've been the hunter chasing someone down. This time, we're the hunted, because Hulkenberg's closing in. He took about 0.7 of a second out of us on the last lap. If he takes another 7 full seconds out on the final lap, it could be curtains for our second consecutive P6 result of the season. Hopefully, well, we are actually getting faster. Charles Leclerc's going slower because he's out. Haha. Lewis Hamilton's getting faster. I mean, bollocks to him. He's just time trialing. And he's just won the race. So there you go. Hamilton, you can go off and celebrate. We've got serious business here. P6 is under threat. But I think as long as we just survive to the end, as long as we keep it clean, as long as we don't screw up too badly, I think we've got this made. Just about, but it's still... The thing is, the track is mostly dry. It is dry enough for slicks, but it is still so cold. There's just no grip there. It's hard to get any grip in the tyres. Heat in the tyres, I should say. And Hulkenberg's still closing in, but the gap's over 6 seconds. We've got one straight to go. A couple of hairpins. Load of helicopters up in the sky. He's still nowhere. He surely is too far back now. Come on, we've just got 2 corners to go. 2 corners to go after what has been a seriously sweaty race. We've had multiple changes of strategy, multiple changes of weather conditions. We've had to time things right. We've had to run on knackered tyres. We've had to come back from literally facing the wrong way at turn 1. But unbelievably, against all the odds, we're going to take a 2nd consecutive P6 finish. Woo!
All right, race over. Take care of the car.
Oh, copy that, Jeff. That was good. A 2nd consecutive surprise result at a track I really didn't think would be any cop at. I mean, seriously? If anything, I'm worse at China than I am Bahrain, and we finished P6 here as well. Anyway, Toto Wolff's happy. He's finally got a first win for the season, and so is Lewis Hamilton. That's a bit of a surprise that they've waited 3 races in to win a race. But, well, I guess Sebastian Vettel's demise kind of paved the way for that. And Raikkonen was on the pole, but I don't think he's even on the podium. So... Ferrari, poor race to be honest. Dre, I'm so sorry. Anyway, Stoffel Van Dorn, he finishes 8th, so he recovered. But, well, did he? He was at the bottom of the top 10 when we passed him, I think. And there's the podium. Mr. Time Trial himself, Max Verstappen there. Doesn't look like his... maybe all the speed and all the bad luck we just gave to him was like, here, Max, you have it for this race. But, oh, 2nd consecutive P6 finish. Woo, boy, that was good. Genuinely, seriously, genuinely don't expect that. That is a really pleasant surprise.
I have to give it to Johnson. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive
Yeah,
indeed.
did you hear that? Andy Davison's giving us driver of the day. Woohoo, that's good. That's really cool. I'd probably given it to Sergio Perez. He came from 14th to 9th. After that disaster, he was the one that was held up by us spinning around at the first corner. But, well, it wasn't Max Verstappen, unbelievably.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Oh, sorry, I'm just drying my hair with a towel.
Your team must
I'm a
be
bit damp.
ecstatic
Sorry.
how you're performing.
Oh, I've got... Yeah, I mean, they are. I mean, I do it just to see the smiles on their faces. That's just make them so happy.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Well, I'm just amazing. Oh, and I've got to say as well, the car is nimble, light, and can run rings around everyone else.
How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today?
Well, Claire, I've got to be honest with you here. It certainly didn't dampen my spirits.
Appreciate your time.
You don't appreciate my jokes, though, do you? No, you probably shouldn't. They're terrible. Anyway, another successful interview wrapped up. Another successful race wrapped up. We've trounced Pierre Gasly. We've trounced Marcus Ericsson. Where even were those fools? Just get on my level, all of you. And some more resource points, which hopefully we'll be able to plow into some more, probably chassis upgrades. I'm just going to keep upgrading that, especially as we've got some street circuits coming up soon. We've got Monaco as well. So I really think I can... Oh my god, my rep is skyrocketing with Toro Rosso. I don't think we're that far off contract negotiations either soon. So that'll be very interesting. But another back-to-back consecutive P6 finishes. That was awesome. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. After today's episode, things will kind of return to normal in terms of schedule. So from here on out, it'll be every Wednesday. Next week, Nay will be launching his own new series. Will he be starting a promising career in a sport of his choice, or playing something else altogether? Probably the latter in his case, but it'll be awesome. Can't wait for that to start. Can't wait to get back on the grind for this next week. For now, I really hope you've enjoyed this latest episode and the series so far. Give this video a thumbs up if you have. Comment down below your favourite rain races of all time. Subscribe if you're new around here. Click the bell to be notified of new uploads. And we will see you guys next time out in the Armbar Arcade.